Welcome to a journey full of emotions and sweet moments. Today, we will follow the beautiful story of Deep and James as they begin their parenthood journey with immense happiness. From the early days of preparing to welcome their first child to the challenges and joys throughout the pregnancy, their love and patience have led them to a milestone, the birth of baby Jack. When Jack was born, that moment was not only the culmination of difficult months but also an overwhelming joy, seeing their little one, with his father's face and his mother's fair skin. Join us in sharing these unforgettable moments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow the next heartwarming chapter. When Deep and James received the joyful news from the first ultrasound, the happiness they felt was truly indescribable. It was a moment filled with emotions, as they learned that the child they had longed for was a healthy baby boy. In that moment, they looked at each other with eyes full of love and happiness, their hearts skipping a beat at the thought of welcoming a little life into their family. They smiled at each other, feeling a deep sense of joy, and promised to give their child all the love and care he deserved. They decided to name him Jack, hoping he would grow strong and intelligent like his father and be as beautiful and loving as his mother. These were their great hopes and strong beliefs for their firstborn. Immediately after receiving the news, Deep and James began preparing for Jack's arrival. They understood that the journey of pregnancy was not just about waiting for a baby, but also a process of learning, growing, and changing. Becoming parents was a big responsibility that not everyone can easily navigate. Therefore, both of them realized they needed to equip themselves with all the knowledge to care for their baby in the best possible way. They attended parenting classes to learn about pregnancy, caring for the baby, and preparing for life as parents. Every class provided valuable information, making them feel more confident about facing the big changes ahead. Not only did Deep and James prepare by gaining knowledge, but they also spent a lot of time preparing the physical space for their new baby. They went shopping together, picking out adorable outfits and essential items for Jack's arrival. Every tiny outfit, every baby item, no matter how small, was filled with the love they had for their child. These simple moments were deeply meaningful. They dreamed together about the future, imagining the first moments of holding their baby in their arms, feeling the joy of watching him grow each day. Even though they knew that parenthood would be challenging, they both felt incredibly excited and eager. This journey was not just about material preparation but also a mental one. Both Deep and James knew that when their child was born, their lives would change completely. Everything would be different, but instead of feeling anxious or fearful, they felt happiness and anticipation. Every step of the preparation process, every decision they made, was born out of their boundless love for their little one. With that love and trust, they knew they were ready to embark on the journey of parenthood, with all the best preparation they could offer. They believed that every challenge would help them become better parents, and that this journey would be a priceless part of their lives. Throughout the pregnancy, Deep and James' journey was not easy, but it was their love and determination that helped them overcome every challenge. In the early days, Deep struggled with severe morning sickness, which made it difficult for her to eat normally. James, though worried, was always there to encourage and care for her, making sure she had every meal and rest she needed. He wasn't just her husband but also an amazing partner throughout this journey. Both of them knew that no matter how hard it got, they had to keep preparing for the arrival of their child, and their belief in the future gave them the strength they needed. Every time they went for a checkup, they anxiously awaited the results. Walking into the ultrasound room, their hearts would race as they worried about the health of the baby. Each time the doctor confirmed that the baby was developing well, they felt a sense of relief and happiness. Those moments made them feel even closer to one another as they prayed and hoped for the health of their little one. The anxiety and anticipation they felt while waiting for the results became a regular part of their life. However, these moments also made them realize that each day was precious, and they were thankful for the baby growing inside Deep. Deep and James' love for each other continued to grow, not just as a couple but also as parents-to-be. They began planning for the changes that would come with having a child. Together, they discussed how to balance work, care for the baby, and their future plans. Even though there were moments of exhaustion, the love and teamwork between Deep and James always helped them get through the hardest times. These challenges were not just physical but also emotional. Sometimes, the worries about becoming parents made them feel uncertain. But every time they saw their baby's growth through health checks, every time they heard the baby's heartbeat on the ultrasound screen, they felt that all the struggles were worth it. Small joys, like feeling the baby's light movements, became the most wonderful moments they had throughout this journey. The mix of worry and happiness made them not only love each other more but also deeply cherish the child they were about to welcome into their lives. Finally, the day that Deep and James had been waiting for so long arrived, the day their baby Jack was born. The labor pains began to overwhelm Deep, with intense contractions that nearly drained her completely. Despite this, Deep remained strong and determined, never giving up. James, seeing his wife in pain, felt his heart tighten, but he stayed by her side, never leaving her for a moment. He held her hand tightly and whispered reassuringly, "You can do it, I believe in you." His words of encouragement were a source of strength for Deep, helping her face those challenging moments. Together, they faced each agonizing second, and their trust in each other was the one thing that made them stronger than ever. When Deep was taken into the operating room, James remained outside, filled with worry and anxiety. He paced back and forth, unable to sit still. Each moment of waiting seemed to drag on forever. Every beat of his heart felt out of sync with the nervousness he felt, but deep down, he kept believing that everything would be fine because they had prepared for every possible scenario. They knew that no matter the challenges, they would overcome them together. Finally, the sound of Jack's cry echoed through the operating room, and in that moment, all of James' worries vanished, replaced by an overwhelming joy. He rushed to his wife and son, filled with pride and happiness. Baby Jack had been born healthy, and just looking at his adorable little face, James felt that every difficulty they had faced throughout the pregnancy had been worth it. Jack's smooth, pale skin resembled his mother's, while his cute little features were a perfect blend of both parents. In that moment, Deep and James exchanged a glance, speechless, their faces lit up with radiant smiles and hearts overflowing with joy. There were no words needed, they both knew this was the most beautiful moment of their lives. As Deep held her son in her arms, all the pain of the pregnancy seemed to fade away. All the struggles, the difficult months, suddenly seemed worth it, because she could feel the love Jack brought into her life. The happiness of seeing his tiny face was the greatest joy she could ever experience, and that feeling erased all the worries and challenges they had faced during the pregnancy. Looking at Jack, Deep and James knew that, although there would still be many challenges ahead, their love, bond, and support for each other would always be their greatest strength. Every challenge in their journey of parenthood had now become a cherished memory, as they could see the sweet result of the love they had for one another. The difficult months were behind them, and now only complete happiness remained as they began a new chapter of life with Jack, their beloved son. They not only had each other, but now their little family was more perfect than ever. This moment made them realize that everything had a purpose, and life was truly complete with the arrival of Jack.
Bài thơ đồng chí. Quê hương anh nước mặn đồng chua, làng tôi nghèo đất cải nên sỏi đá. Anh với tôi đôi người xa lạ, tự phương trời chẳng hẹn quen nhau. Súng bên súng đầu sát bên đầu, đêm rét chung chăn thành đôi chi kỷ. Đồng chí, ruộng nương anh gửi bạn thân cải, gian nhà không mặc kệ gió lung lay. Giếng nước gốc đa nhớ người ra nính, anh với tôi biết từng cơn ớn lạnh. Sốt run người vầng trán ướt mồ hôi, áo anh rách vai, quần tôi có vài mảnh vá. Miệng cười buốt giá, chân không dày, thương nhau tay nắm lấy bàn tay. Đêm nay rừng hoang sương muối, đứng cạnh bên nhau chờ giặc tới, đầu súng trong treo. Bài thơ đồng chí được sáng tác vào đầu năm 1948, sau khi tác giả đã cùng đồng đội tham gia vào chiến đấu trong chiến dịch Việt Bắc Thu Đông năm 1947, đánh bại cuộc tổng tiến công quy mô lớn của giặc Pháp lên chiến khu Việt Bắc. Bài thơ là một trong những tác phẩm tiêu biểu nhất về người lính cách mạng và văn học kháng chiến chống Pháp từ năm 1946 đến năm 1954.